So hello everyone for joining our very first Tech Talk of the year 2023 with the success that we got last year with our Advancio Tech Talk, where we approach and discuss with experts from the industry about emerging technology, newer technology, emerging technology, so everything about technology. So that's the goal of this talk. And today I'm happy to kick off this new series with my special guest Zeev Avidan, and also with one of our developer, Mouna Macharhmach, who is an experienced software developer here at Advancio. So thanks, Zeev and Mouna, for being with us today for this very first talk of the year. And Zeev, please tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So thanks for having me. So I'm Zeev Avidan. I'm Chief Product Officer for a company called OpenLegacy. What we do is basically provide legacy modernization integration in a no-code, low-code way, so cloud-first way. My background is fairly technical, so I started as actually a mainframe developer back in the day, system programmer, and been doing IT for the last 28 years now, and moved to product about a decade ago, and been leading the product strategy and roadmap for OpenLegacy ever since. So that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Zeev. Thank you for the introduction. And Mouna, tell us about yourself, your experience.
Yes, sure. Thanks for having me here today. For me, my name is Mouna Macharhmach. I'm from Morocco. I'm a software developer here in Advancio for almost like 4 years right now. And what I can say about myself is that I like and I enjoy coding. So I really like enjoy coding, and yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Mouna. Thank you for the introduction. And so me, I'm Arnaud. I'm leading the business development, and I'm also leading the strategic partnership here at Advancio. And obviously on top of that, I'm a big, I would say, fintech, edtech, green tech, every fintech, insurtech, you name it. So everything that's my passion here at Advancio. And as I said again, I love to receive special guests to talk about, the technology trends that we are passionate about today. And our talk today is going to be around how low code and no code can lead the banking digital transformation. But before we deep dive and answer this question, I think it's important to answer the first question, that is, what is low code, no code? Because it sounds like it's the solution for everything. Does that mean we don't need a developer anymore? So that's why I think, Zeev, please let us know what is low code, no code.
Sure, absolutely. And so when you talk about low code, no code, it has kind of evolved. The term has evolved. It used to be the case that when we talked about low code, no code, usually what we meant was a very easy interface to building, mobile and web applications using a developer that doesn't need to actually code. That was very powerful, and there were some companies doing that in a very effective way. I think now the term evolved a little bit to indicate everything that is to do with being able to do things that used to take coding and now could be done in a way that does not require coding. That is definitely still, front-end development, but it's much more than that today. So it's back-end development, and in our case, in OpenLegacy's case, it's integration, but it's really about being able to do things without actually writing code. So it's a very efficient way of working, and I think it also comes with great alignment with other trends that we're seeing around automation, around even AI and things of that nature. So that's, at least from my vantage point, what's low code and no code is.
Thank you, Zeev. Very, very interesting. Mouna, because you're a developer, so what does that mean for you, no code? Is that a threat? Is that an opportunity? Tell me.
Well, for me, like a developer, I think that from like a developer perspective, the low code, no code is just like a tool to improve like the development process, and it will allow like the developers to like focus more in the complex tasks instead of like just like doing the easy tasks. So I'm saying it like this, that it's something that's helping because it will like let us focus more in the complex tasks that we are doing day a day.
Nice. So I'm hearing that at the end, low code, no code, it's more like an opportunity for developers and development team than like I would say a threat for them.
Yes, I agree with that.
All right. Thank you, Zeev and Mouna, so for giving us some some lights on what's no code and no code. Now that we know what it is, I would say, how are we going to answer this question that how the low code and no code can help banks to drive their digital transformation today?
At least from what I've seen, when you talk about low code, no code, and I absolutely agree with Mouna, it's not replacing the developers. It's enhancing their capabilities and really enabling them to do things that were just not possible before. I mean, if you think about transformations, if you have a horse and buggy, and you have 2 horses and now you added 4 horses, yeah, it's faster, but that's not a dramatic change. If you move to a car, that's a dramatic change. Now you have to plan cities around that. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing. It's not about enabling a developer to work 10%, 20% faster. It's not a utility. It's really enabling a developer that used to take 6 months to do something. Now they can do it in less than a day. And we see that. I mean, we have the customers talking about it and what impact does it make on their business. And I think that combining that with another thing that we saw, which is really, it's so self-evident that the need for deploying at velocity and moving fast is just the differentiator between businesses that make it and businesses that don't. I mean, I don't have to tell everybody, we've seen COVID and we've seen supply chain issues and we've seen the economic downturn and wars and all of those kind of things, which on one hand really require people to change really quickly. On the other hand, you can actually see that some organizations, not small ones, actually are able to change very quickly. So I think the more people understand the need for being able to be fast and how much important that is to incorporate that thinking into their everyday lives, as not and I'm saying not even banks, but maybe especially banks, because they have their specific and unique set of challenges and they're very global, so they need to react to things all the time. So being able to move and very, very quickly really is an important thing. And I think that low code, no code and the capabilities it provide really is a key component in that.
Thank you, Zeev, for giving some clarification here. And do you have an example of the use of no code, low code for in the case of digital transformation, and specifically because today we focus on the banking industry? Can you tell us about some experience there?
Sure, I can give you an example, and I don't know if I can name names, but this is let's say a global 1,000 bank, and
a big one.
A big one, yes. They're all big in their own way. But they had, very specific challenges, but specifically around, they were pretty confident in their ability to leverage their legacy systems, which were there and are there to stay, specifically mainframes. And they were, pretty confident in their ability to leverage them. They had mainly read-only APIs, and, they have their standard ways of dealing with them. But then the regulatory landscape completely changed. And all of a sudden, competition came in their specific region. And that was an eye-opener for them, but also, a bit of concern. And so all of a sudden, they found themselves in a place where they needed to start thinking about moving really quickly to not only not, lose from that regulatory change, which was mostly around the ability of customers to move their accounts from one bank to the other, in ways that were very easy and simple. Not just to lose on that, but maybe even to capture an opportunity here. Maybe bring customers to their own to themselves. And so understanding that and moving quickly they were able to basically get to the point where they can deploy a new product into the market, within weeks rather than maybe a year and a half, and create services, specific services that they needed in days or even less than days. And the people doing the work were not necessarily the legacy skilled people, but rather the digital developers. And the way they were able to do that by using no code, low code, which really enabled them to do all kinds of elaborate and complex things without even knowing that they're elaborate and complex behind the scenes, because the platform took care of that for them. So they were able to very successfully seize on that opportunity and basically go out there in the market and release a bunch of products that were very kind of innovative, and both for actual business lines, but also, let's face it, I mean, PR value, when you put out there a very innovative product is also there. So that was, a very interesting way for them to move from one way of thinking to another way of thinking, which was both technological, but also, I would say, cultural and people, thing.
No, that's very interesting, because I think now we start like a kind of understanding like this low-code, no-code development can actually, one, I think, increase the automation, but I'm also hearing that, and that's what I believe one of the main challenge for banks, increase and improve the customer experience. So I'm hearing that's answering a need for the banking industry.
For sure, absolutely. And I think a big important question is who does what?
Yes.
In terms of improving the customer experience, you need the folks that are closer to those lines of business to be able to be empowered to do things on their own, instead of going through all the chain and all the kind of teams and things of that nature where things get diluted. If they're enabled to do things on their own, that makes for a much more impactful change.
Okay, and I believe that all of that obviously also has an impact on lowering the cost for development.
If you can do in a day what used to take 6 months, obviously that has significant cost implications.
Yeah, and since I've been working and talking to many bankers and looking for this kind of solution, and as you know, when you deal with banks, there is always a question that comes is what about the security? What does it implicate using low-code, no-code in terms of security?
So I think it's funny because the initial reaction for people, especially in a highly regulated environment, would be, oh, security is going to be a challenge. But if you think about it kind of a little bit in a deeper way, actually that's a huge opportunity for more robust security, because you can have all the products and all the facilities and platforms for securing things, but in the end of the day, it's the person, right? That's where a lot of the potential vulnerabilities are. Somebody does something wrong, even unintentionally, they just don't know when they do something wrong. The more you automate, the more you make it simple for people to do things in a way that does not require them to write code, which of course opens up a lot of vulnerabilities, but do them in ways that are automated, that they can just point and click. The more robust your security is, because you can plan for that and you can make the patterns centrally, but then deploy them so everybody can enjoy them even without knowing behind the scenes, throughout the organization.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Zeev. That was really insightful to have your insight. So we can tell today, because I think we're almost at the end of our talk today, that so really, to answer this question, how low code and no code can help banking on the digital transformation. So we can say that it's a matter of easier, faster, cheaper solution, and without I would say like having any issue in terms of security. Would it be a good I would say resume?
It's an improvement on all fronts, I would say.
Well, thank you very much, Zeev, for sharing all this insight and your expertise, and also allowing us to pick your brain. So where people actually, I have a question: where people can find you on the social media, for the ones in the audience that wants to know more about all this reference.
Oh, for sure. So we're OpenLegacy. That's the company, openlegacy.com, of course. We're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we're on everywhere you would, expect us to be. And, for every organization that might have a challenge with their legacy systems and they want to approach them in a cloud-first way, they want to enable their digital developers to leverage those legacy assets. I mean, we're more than happy to help and, have everybody reach out to us.
Thank you, Zeev. Mouna, you want to add a word?
Yeah, for me, for the low code, no code, something that I didn't mention before is just like for the developers. It's not like against the developers, the low code, no code. But I think that's something that we are dealing with when we are doing like the development process, the traditional one. We are dealing with a lot of bugs, with a lot of errors. So with low code, no code, I think that we are like avoiding those ones. So it's I'm seeing like an opportunity more than like something against the developers in the low code, no code.
Thank you, Mouna. So I think now you just reassure a lot of our friends developer that they still have like a bright future, and actually that low code, no code is not the enemy, but actually an opportunity for them to probably work better with the coming technologies. Thank you, Mouna. Thank you, Zeev. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for our audience also for joining us today. If you want to know more about how to implement low-code, no-code in your tech project, so as you can understand, feel free to reach out to us, and all the information will be in the description below of the video. Also, please follow, like, and subscribe to our channel, and please follow us on our social media. And obviously we are open to hear and read your comments on the topics, and we will see each other in a new tech talk in a month. Thanks, everyone.